Alright guys, what's up? It's Tom Stansfield. For anyone who hasn't seen me before in the group or on here, I'm a basketball coach over in France. But today this video is with regard to the Mayweather Pacquiao fight. So I'm going a bit out of my depth, maybe. What I'm going to do, okay, let me explain a question that I was asked on the group. If anyone's not part of the Thunderdome boxing group and you're a boxing fan, get in there. A lot of good topics. One of the admins asked a question as to if you were Roach and you're working with Manny for this fight, what would you do? Your game plan. So I'm going to address the question. Normally, as I say, I'm a basketball coach, so feel free to point me in the right direction if you think I'm wrong, or whatever. I'm open to criticism. But I'm used to breaking players down and video reviews of all sorts of stuff that we do at practice, game tape. Normally I'm looking at 10 people. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm going to get proved completely wrong. But I've done a couple of hours yesterday, a couple of hours today, studying Floyd, and it seems that I pick up on quite a fair bit. Now, maybe it's just me, maybe I'm blowing my own trumpet, or I'm getting way ahead of myself. If I'm wrong, like I say, feel free to correct me. I'll be the first to admit I'm a basketball coach. It's what I do. It's what I do for a living. But at the end of the day, sport's a sport. Everything I teach and the way I implement things at practice, I am 100% sure you do the exact same thing in a boxing ring. Just the execution is different in terms of we shoot the ball, you throw a right hook, we rebound, you throw a left jab. It is what it is. Just the tools are different, that's all it is. So I'm going to start with something that I've not really seen many people comment on. I think this is mainly because of Mayweather being so defensive and Pacquiao being so offensive that this sort of gets missed. Okay, but the jab followed by the left straight or the right straight for Mayweather and Manny respectively. I'm gonna put a few clips up while I'm speaking and load things up after I've said it, so you can see what I'm saying that I'm seeing. Again, if you don't see it, let me know. Like I say, I'm going to start with the straight. I'll just go with the straight because one's left, one's right. Like this is a breakdown for Manny, so I'm going to address it more against Floyd, but I'm not here to slate Floyd. So if anyone wants to go, he's a packed hard, whatever, I'm gonna try and balance it when I can. I'm not gonna give you the whole everything the same, because like I said, the question was aimed at what would the game plan be for Floyd. So you're gonna see what I see when I watch Floyd, and very unique things that I've not seen people pick up on before, that I've spotted in a matter of days watching. So hopefully you're gonna like what I see. I'm gonna maybe at the end of it you're gonna go, wow, this kid knows his stuff. But we'll see. Okay, so first up, the jab followed by the straight. Okay, now with regards to Mayweather, I've written a few things down, so if I keep looking over it, I'm trying to help myself out. Where do I start? When you jab with Floyd, okay, if you do not jab convincingly, he sticks the right hand right back down your throat. Okay, I'll load up a video of I think it was the Mosley fight. Yeah, it's the Mosley. He's done it against pretty much everyone. If you just probe, and I'll get to that from a Mayweather standpoint in a bit, if you just probe him with the left hand in his face, you sort of push the jab out, nothing convincing. You're not looking to hit him with it. You are, but you're not looking to go 1-2 seriously hard with both of them. You just sort of push the left out. Okay, he sees this and immediately slams the right. almost every time. Okay, now I know there's the question of his brittle hands. Now I have to question. I don't think it's hands is in a plural. I think it's his left hand. Now I've not looked into it, so if someone goes, yeah, well, we all know that. Okay, fair enough, right? But I'm just going off what I've seen. Now, when he was, not a kid but younger, he used to throw left hook after left hook after left hook and stick the jab in your face. Now he literally throws 3 or 4 a fight, and the rest of the time it's a probe that I will refer to as the measuring stick, which I will get to later on. Just bear with me. So this is for the jab. When he's receiving the jab, obviously when he's with the shoulder roll, you will normally see it the second the glove touches his shoulder. It's instantaneous. The glove touches the shoulder, it comes in here, he feels this, bang, turns. I'll break down his footwork on it in a minute. You can see the whole lot. But he does this every time he sees the opportunity to. In terms of, again, you'll see in a minute. I think again it's the Mosley fact, but don't get me, he does it with everyone. I did try and make this video yesterday, and I was pushing an hour 40 with a lot of video, so I'm trying to cut down the amount of video that I put in this. So if you go, you've got one clip of it, there's 1,000, there's 10,000 clips of the same thing on YouTube. How long are you going to sit and watch my video for? Some of you might watch it right to the end. But you want to see this, go and search any of his other fights. Okay, the Mosley, there's a time in the Mosley one that I'll load up. Mosley literally, I think he feints, and his left hand is just, I'm talking inches, is just below where it should be in terms of protecting himself completely, and that's enough. Because Mayweather knows, and this is the same with Pacquiao. I'll show you the Pacquiao when he does it as well. This is enough for him because he knows he can change his footwork up, as I'll explain, turn his hip and stick the right down the pipe before you can pull your hand back up to protect yourself. And then, sometimes he'll finish this up with a combo. He'll hit 2 or 3 and he'll jump out. But a lot of the time he spins off to the right. Okay, now that's going to be a problem against Pacquiao. Again, this is something I'll get to further down the line. He spins out to the right, and you can go, he's not going to do this against Pacquiao. Well, he did it against Ortiz, and he did it against Guerrero. Okay, so old habits die hard. It's something that he's obviously trained a hell of a lot of, and it's habitual for him to stick the right straight and spin out to the right. Now, don't get me wrong, I've seen him spin out to the left, okay, but more often than not, he goes to the right because that's what he's done training against Orthodox. And this carries on with him against Southpaws. Now, for me, this fight, Manny and Floyd, is going to come down to not necessarily who executes whose game plan better, because I hear that a lot in boxing. This is going to be who can exploit whose errors quicker, if that makes sense. They both have errors. Please, don't sit and tell me Floyd's perfect or Manny's perfect. They're not. They are really not. Okay, you can sit and I'll just tell you straight up, I'm not even having a debate with someone who says I'm wrong on that. They both leave themselves wide open after certain punches. Okay, it's part of the sport. Nothing's perfect. Okay. It's going to be who spots who leaving themselves wide open and jumps on it and seizes the opportunity to either score the points or to put them on their ass. Okay, now, you can agree with it, disagree with whatever, but we'll see come May 2nd. Okay, so let me load these first set of clips up so you can see what I'm talking about with this jab. I'll put Pacquiao and Mayweather up so you can see both of them doing what they do. And then, we'll go from there. Okay, so here, as I said, Mosley throws a weak jab with no real intention. Mayweather directly, right hand straight in response. Here, at the end of the combo, you see Mosley's hand. He doesn't bring his hand back up, and that's enough for Mayweather to spot it and go, "But okay, smash." Again, look, he's about to throw the left, okay, but he sees Mosley's left drops. Maybe he grabs it a little bit, who cares? But the right goes. Again, jab, Mosley, not convincing. Another one, not convincing. The distance is too big, and Mayweather jumps right down the pipe. Bang, right hand. It's no different for Marquez. It's arguably worse for Marquez, in fact. Pacquiao, alright, early career. The left hand, the jab comes in, and he does the exact same thing. Like I said, this isn't anything spectacularly new. This is just immediate response for both of them for what happened. You throw a jab. Can I? Maybe more so with Pacquiao. He'll try it more often with less. How can I put it? He'll do it more often on feints as well. So he'll try and throw it more than Mayweather will. We all know Mayweather is very conservative. But the drop of the hand, the left hand. So obviously for Manny, it's going to be the right hand. When they're within his distance, which goes, unfortunately for Pacquiao, extends to about 8 to 10 inches longer than jabbing distance, because he gets a hell of a lot of torque from the hip. He changes his feet up, so he's almost in like a sprinter's stance. I've got a video of that in a minute. I'll put that up. So do I see them jabbing each other for this fight? No, not at all. There's gonna be a couple, maybe best, for both of them throughout the fight. Now, don't get me twisted with when I'm saying they're not going to jab. They're still going to use their lead hand. I'm going to show you what they both do rather effectively to open up their straight. Mayweather, as we know, loves a good cuddle. He likes to smother. He likes the elbows and everything. And you know what? I don't know the exact rules. I'll call bullshit on some of it. Like the smother on Maidana, where he'd look like he farted in his hand and made Maidana eat it. I'll call shit on that. But a couple of minutes ago, I said about the measuring stick and what I refer to as the measuring stick. Well, they both use this technique rather well. Again, maybe you guys call it probing. I might be wrong, tell me if I am. Not, open to being told why I'm wrong. Mayweather uses his left hand a lot. Again, this is why I'm convinced, his problem is with his left hand now. Definitely wasn't a few years ago, but now. He uses it as a gauge to see where you're at, and if he can push your face to one side, he will. We've seen it done, he likes to push the face like this, so you can't see anything. I get it. Not too keen on it, I'll be honest, but I get it. It works. Pacquiao uses the same technique in terms of they both stick their lead hand just in your face. No punch. Sometimes they throw it as a jab, and I can understand. It might go on CompuBox, to quote them, because I don't trust their stats either. As a jab thrown, but a lot of the time it's just a sort of a touch, and I think touch is a good word because it kind of tells them whether they can or can't throw the follow-up straight down the pipe. They're both arguably quite guilty of it, and I think it works for them. So is it a bad thing? No, but it sure as hell be one thing that if I was Freddie Roach, I'd be saying to Manny, when you feel this or when you notice this, just get out of the way, back up, or move to your right, because Floyd's gonna throw the straight right. It's going to happen. He's going to put his left hand on Manny Pacquiao, whether it's his glove against Pacquiao's glove, whether it's his glove against his face, you know, doing the whole, I'm just going to put it right in your face like this, or whether it's just sort of 6 inches in front of his face. He's going to do it a lot. He's going to do a hell of a lot of his elbows. It's just to gauge. That's all it is, you know. And I want to say every time, but I know if I do, someone's going to go, well, actually it's 74.3 recurring percentage. But I'm going to say it, and fuck you. Every time he does it, and he will punch straight after, he will throw a straight right straight after he has left. He is sort of disconnected his contact with you, whether it's a push, whether he steps back and pulls it down, the straight right is coming. Okay, so with regards to tactics and what would you do, I'd be telling Manny, move. Okay, and we know Manny likes to stand and bang, and you know he does all sorts of crazy wild shit that not a lot of people can do. But if he can get onto this and, you know, work out the timing, which, let's be honest, if anyone's got a chance of working this out, it's him. Okay, you know, he's one of the fucking quickest men on the planet. Okay, and alright, Floyd is as well, you know. I'm being equal, okay, before anyone shouts. But if he's putting the left hand on Pacquiao, I'd be telling Pacquiao just to either one step back or one step to the right, because when Floyd throws, and I'm saying when, it's not an if, it's when Floyd throws that right, he's going to have a hell of a lot more time to see it, and a hell of a lot more time to do something about it, in terms of what's he going to throw back, which is another thing I'm going to touch on later on, as to what he can throw back. So let me just put these up, and you can see these as well for what they are. And again, let me know what you think. If you think I'm seeing completely different to you, let me know. Okay, you know, so again, you know, this is as back as 2001. There's a Gatti highlight coming up. Again, it's not about opponent, it's just style. And there's a Canelo. Like I said, this can be anything from a touch to an elbow to almost a jab. But if he can touch you with his left hand, you can be sure as hell he's gonna throw straight right at you. You know, that's painful watching the Hatton one being an Englishman, but yeah. Is he as active as he is in the Gatti video now? Probably not, no, but he still does the exact same thing. There's the Maidana one. So, like I say, if I'm Freddie Roach, Manny has to move when he feels this coming. He has to move when he feels it coming, and I'm going to get to my next part of what he has to do to have, I don't know, to have success, just to improve his chances. It's something he actually does quite well anyway. And again, if you're in the Thunderdome boxing group on Facebook, you might have seen me comment on this a few weeks back. One of my players is a semi-pro boxer as well. And there was a fight on his card of a southpaw versus an orthodox fighter, and the orthodox dude threw the straight right after the jab, and the southpaw stepped to the right and put a left uppercut in. Now, don't get me wrong, he threw the kitchen sink with the uppercut and nearly killed the bloke. Like, the first thing that hit the floor was the guy's face. I've not really seen Pacquiao throw with that much power or sort of emphasis on the kill behind it when he has thrown it, but he does throw it. Again, I've got a couple of videos of that. If you want more videos, there's thousands on YouTube. Okay, don't go. He's only done it once. Okay, he does it a lot. When he slips to the right, as we know Pacquiao likes to jump, 6 foot to the right after a left straight. Like he did with Rios a hell of a lot. It was probably most evident in the Rios fight, due to Rios being, he was just standing in front of you all fight long. Is it about opponent? Nope, because Mayweather's done the same thing. Whether you like it or not, Mayweather's done the same thing the opposite side against the same caliber of opponent. Okay, so I call this the cheeky uppercut. Might just be an English thing. We seem to say cheeky about a lot of things, but I call it the cheeky uppercut. It's like I say, it's not a power shot from him. It was enough to drop Cotto the first time he dropped him. I think it's more of a shock tactic in terms of, whoa, I didn't expect that. Didn't really see it. Bang, didn't hurt, but it's a flash knockdown. Is that, that's what you guys say? So he needs to be looking in some form of response to Floyd throwing the straight from this particular. I'm not saying every time, because I'll explain Floyd's straight right from a different perspective when you're stood in his face in a few minutes, and you'll see what I'm saying about that. So he needs to be completely willing to duck, not so much duck down, no, that's the wrong way of putting it, sort of lean and shell up as he turns and bang the left uppercut as he exits to one side, or the right uppercut if he's going to go the opposite way. Floyd also, when Floyd misses, and again, don't tell me he doesn't miss, okay? You go on about he's the most accurate fighter in the world. Well, guess what? He isn't hitting 100% of the time. What's he on? 50%? That means he misses 50% of the time as well. Okay, that's not difficult. You can't tell me that's wrong. Okay, it's a very accessible stat online. Okay, when Floyd misses the right straight, which he does, he curls up. Okay, he goes out to the side and he leans over until his, how can I put this in? I'm trying to do it in a boxing term, but I'm thinking basketball because it's footwork. I'm assuming if I said pivot foot, you'd understand what I'm saying. When he spins, he'll pivot on his foot, and he will then when he's completely spun, sort of 180, between 90 and 180 degrees, he will then transfer the energy of his pivot onto his back foot and lean backwards. Okay, but until he has got his then to be back foot down, he is completely turned over. His head's down. He's turning. Uppercut. I've seen so many videos of people who, when he leans down, they try and hit him with like hammer fists, and it's like, what are you doing? Like, I'm no expert, okay, but Canelo did it once in 12 rounds, and it was perfect, and then he stops. Okay, now don't know, the Canelo Floyd fight was so bad, but that's a whole different video for a whole different, that's for you lot to talk about. I'm not here to talk about Canelo and Mayweather. So he's down. There's 1,000 videos of people who want to throw, these big clubbing rights at him while he's leant over, and it either hits his shoulder or he just moves out the fucking way. You throw an uppercut at him, you hit him, and you carry on hitting him because he shells up. And I don't get why they don't do it. It's, how can I put it? It's like they're being paid not to do it. Don't bite. I know that's just made a few of your asses sort of twitch a little bit, right? Don't bite on it. I'm not implying anything. I'm just saying that's almost what it looks like, because no one does it. Okay. Like I said, Canelo did it. Canelo did it once. It worked. Why would you stop doing it? I don't get it. You have tactics for a reason. Like, I'm saying it as I see it as a perfect tactic. You're going to turn around and go, oh, it's not a good tactic. That's fine. Okay, but I see it as tactics. That's what I was saying in my video. He needs to continue with this uppercut, because he throws it a lot. Like I say, he does use this a lot in more of his combo work. When when it's stand and bang time, he will throw the left uppercut or the right uppercut. Not so much in bunches. It's normally one. So it's either a right or a left, and then he moves. again, this is just from me watching Pacquiao the last few. I've watched a lot of his fights. Don't get me wrong, but from actually sitting and trying to analyse him, not live, that's what I'm picking up on. Can he throw this at Mayweather? Sure he can. Of course he can. Absolutely he can. Has he got an advantage? Yeah, because he's small on him. And Floyd's going to be leaning down, so the distance for him that he has to throw it is even shorter. So it works more to Manny's advantage. He throws it, and it either connects, and I don't know, dare I say it stumbles him, or it makes him think, and Manny wants to jump all over him, which Manny will do because that's what Manny's done for nearly 60 fights, or more than 65, however many he's had in total. But that's what he does. So, it's either that and swarm, or it's that and jump out of the way. But you've scored a point for hitting. You've landed a clean uppercut on him because he throws it and he shows up. And, he goes into his little guard, right. But Pacquiao's gonna smash right through the centre of it, and whether you like it or not, you get hit with an uppercut when you're let down. It's not hard to see if you've been hit with it or not. It's not going to be hard for a judge to go, oh yeah, he just cracked him there. Okay, so this is something that I would put in a lot. Not so much. I'm going to say a lot. I'd emphasise it. He might not see the window of opportunity is going to be small for it. Don't get me wrong. It's going to be a small window of opportunity, but his hand speed. You can't say that he doesn't have the hand speed to match the short-term window that's going to appear for him every now and then. Okay, and this isn't like I'm saying that there could be not many. There's going to be enough. There's going to be enough opportunities for him to get this because Floyd's going to throw probably more straight rights than anything in this fight in terms of his arsenal and what he's going to throw in the fight. The straight right is going to be. It is his punch. He's made it his punch for his career. Okay, so that's fair play to him. But the cheeky uppercut, perfect tool. As far as I see it, you want to jump all over it, Okay, I'm just saying what I see. But let me put these up, and you can have a look at what I'm saying. Here's the Cotto highlights with Pac with this uppercut that I was talking about. There's a few different videos of it that you'll see now coming up. Again, this isn't going to be the tell-all. It's just something he's going to need to use against Mayweather. He's going to have to use it and implement it some way, which I'm sure he'll find a way of figuring it out. So the little uppercut, and again, it's 3 videos. Okay, just watch. There's 100,000 of them on YouTube. If you're not convinced by what I'm saying, if you need me to be more clear about where to find it, if you want to go and look for it, at the end of a lot. I'm gonna say a lot, not all of them, because it's not all of them. A lot of Pacquiao's combinations, he will end with an uppercut. Whether he hits or he misses, he throws it. Okay, now he threw it against Cotto, it landed. Okay, go back to the puncher's chance. There's a chance it's going to hit you. Okay, he threw it, it landed, it put him on his ass. It probably didn't hurt him. I mean, I don't know. The slow mo looks like it ripped him in half, but you look at it in fight time, it was just a quick flash. Little short snappy uppercut, bang. All he needed. The round's won. Cotto's he's a very tough bastard. He ended up stopping him, but that one punch alone, if he just stayed and sort of boxed him, rather than try and slaughter him like he did, that punch wouldn't. When you look at the grand scheme of things, that punch didn't have that much of an impact. The knockdown after it did, but that one itself, the uppercut, no. So this isn't a punch where I'm saying this is going to knock Mayweather out. Okay, it could, but again, this is just what I'm saying to use as a counter when Mayweather is down directly after the straight right, when he's missed a straight right. Okay, Manny wants to stand there and trade 1s and 2s with him and jump all over him. He's probably going to do that anyway, okay? But you know, that's Manny Pacquiao. Now, just to jump on something that I said, I was speaking to J Cotto about doing this video originally. So J Cotto, while I'm putting your name out there, cheers for the sort of little confidence boost on the video. Because it's the first kind of video I've done like this, and it's a bit weird. I said I was gonna try and mix up a little bit of a comparison between Calzaghe and Roy Jones and Calzaghe and Bernard Hopkins. I was going to go into quite a lot of detail on it, but I could sort of hinder myself because I'm not some, what's it called, Bert Sugar. I've not got his knowledge of boxing and going dates back and eras and all that sort of stuff. I know my sort of my own lifespan, but for me, and again, if you think differently, not a problem. But Roy Jones and Joe Calzaghe and Bernard Hopkins and Joe Calzaghe are the two closest fights to this that most people now have seen, in terms of definitely my age. If someone maybe a little bit older wants to go and say, well, we had this, maybe you did, okay, but I'm 24. I'm not. I've not been here for 50 years. I've not been. I know of other names, but I wasn't. I've not had your experience in terms of not been able to watch them every Friday night, every Saturday night. When I was younger. So I'm going off what I've seen. Jones more output than Hopkins, obviously. But in terms of his movement and the stuff he throws, he's a little bit more classier than Mayweather. In terms of his output. Hopkins, very one punch, two punch, cuddle you for 10 seconds, very Mayweather-esque. Likes to draw you in, gave Calzaghe all sorts of problems, and he did. Why do I throw Calzaghe out there? Because Calzaghe is the big volume punching left-hander. Just as reckless as Manny Pacquiao, but they do different things recklessly. I.e., Manny will jump in like he did against Hopkins. Fucking hell, no, he never fought Hopkins. Like he did against Marquez in the fourth. Whereas on the same level of stupidity, Joe Calzaghe will stand and put his guard down and rub his head and his face against the gloves of Roy Jones in the corner. Now, I've said, Manny's going to have fun with the uppercut. That works both ways. Okay, I'm going to end it short and sweet on this subject and comparing the others, because if I'm going on the right line somewhere, I don't want to make myself then look like a dick by saying the wrong thing and upsetting people. So you'll see how Mayweather can use the uppercut, because Roy Jones did against Joe Calzaghe quite effectively. First round knockdown was arguably an uppercut, arguably smacked him square in the face with his forearm, but that's when you've got two people going like this, it's never going to be perfect. The first one you'll see though is when Jones is in the corner and has been backed up. I think the video is cut quite a bit. I'm sure I had so much video I had to cut down and stuff. He's walked back into the corner and Calzaghe comes in, no real intention other than swarm the corner, and sucks a hell of a lot of uppercut for doing so. So this works both ways. Okay, Manny can utilise the uppercut just as much as Mayweather can, but Mayweather will do it from a different point of view because of their fight styles. Because Mayweather's defensive, he's going to have shots to do it from different openings, different opportunities throughout the fight. But just take a look and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Um, I'll go on to my next subject of that in terms of patience, because it sort of fits right in with it. It sort of goes hand in hand. Um, as we know, Pacquiao is not the most patient guy in the world. Can imagine most of you, the flow-mos that are watching are going, yeah, totally agree. You know what? Most Pac fans or most, boxing fans will tell you the same thing. That Manny is not patient. He's getting better. He's getting a lot more patient. It's been evident since the Marquez knockout. He's become a lot more patient. He was in his the Bradley rematch, where Bradley really tried to piss him off, and was goading him in. Come on, come to the ropes. And Floyd's gonna do the same, just not the same way. You've got to realise now one thing. Some of you might not have seen, but it's one thing I've picked up on. A lot of the again, I want to say it all the time about a lot of things, but I don't want someone to go, oh, you said 100% of the time, and it's not 100% of the time. Mayweather will walk back. Okay, he will walk back, and you'll follow him. Okay. A lot of the time, he's goading you in. Now, people, some people are going to go, oh, I've told you this, told you that, and I'm just saying what I see. Okay, so maybe someone's mentioned this video and I've not picked up on it, or I've been doing something at the same time, whatever. He walks you back, but you think you're walking him back, and before you know it, bang, straight right, or the left hook. Now, the key to this, and this might make some of your ears prick up, this is what I call, let me quote myself correct, the Mayweather flinch, or twitch, and the Mayweather lean and lunge. Okay, now, I can imagine some of you have heard that and gone, I think I know what you're talking about. Alright, so for the ones that don't know, which I'm kind of hoping to a lot of you, the key to this, now this is the same straight right, but from a different perspective, in terms of this is when you're walking towards him. This isn't you stood there toe to toe and you've thrown a jab, and there's not very much movement, there's no real head movement, you're not stood there in the pocket trying to bang with each other. Okay, this is when you're walking him back, or you think you're walking him back, which is something Manny's gonna have to be careful of, because Manny's gonna be all over this guy in terms of running after him, and that could backfire massively. Again, like I said, I'm trying to break Floyd down, and I'm trying to sort of not even the score, but I'm trying to get it from both sides and not be a Pactard or a Flomo, if you see what I mean. So I'll go with the Mayweather flinch first, or the Mayweather twitch. Now, the key to this is the right hand, and I've not heard anyone talk about this before, so if this is the first time you've heard it, then you're welcome. Okay, just gonna throw it out there. When you watch Mayweather, when you watch, okay, because some people can't see what's in front of their eyes. They're blinded by the bullshit they hear on the, the commentators and all that sort of stuff, and the media and the news. Mayweather's right hand is the key to his left hand. Okay, through watching this religiously, like the last couple of hours, right? There's a lot of times I'm watching Mayweather now and I'm going straight right, left hook, one or the other. I know what's coming. I can see it, and I'm just a regular guy who is making a living coaching basketball. I'm not calling myself, Max Callum, the next Max Kellerman or the new Freddie Roach, okay? Because I wouldn't have a fucking clue how to coach a boxing lesson. All right, I'm literally breaking this down. I think what works for me is the fact that I'm used to watching 10 people, 5 people minimum, when I'm going basketball again here. I'm used to watching 5 and 10 people and breaking down what this guy's doing at the same time as 9 other people are doing. Okay, so for me, watching one person, I'm not really interested in the other guy. When I'm talking this, because it's Mayweather, the slight slip of the hand, what I talked about earlier with the straight, again, it's not difficult for me to see. Maybe some, well, that's boxing, well, maybe it is, but the speed in which they're thinking at isn't boxing. That's like some crazy sci-fi level of, there's like 5 people in the world who can think that fast. So what he does now, some videos it changes, so don't directly quote me on this movement I'm about to do on the camera, okay? But you'll see it in a video. His hand, let me just move it a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. His right hand, this camera's completely opposite. This is his right hand, okay? It either goes out like this, just a little, just a bit. No, it's not like, it doesn't go out as if he's trying to shake your hand. He literally, it moves from here to there, okay? It sort of opens out. Or his hand, imagine how, I've got the glove on, whatever. His hand, it moves, okay? And he can't throw a left hand. The jab, okay, I'll give him the jab. Anything bigger with more power, this hand moves religiously, and it moves before he throws the left. It's like watch out, because I'm gonna pull this down, and this one's coming at you, and I'm warning you what you do about it. And obviously, don't get me wrong, this is happening quick, okay? Go for fuck's sake. Let's say Floyd's the fastest guy on the planet in a boxing ring, just to please people. I know it won't please a lot of people, but it'll please the fucking Flomos. Manny's the second fastest guy on the planet. Not, never mind that my opinion says that Amir Khan's got faster hands than both of them, but just for the sake of this argument, Floyd's the fastest guy on the planet, Manny's the second fastest guy on the planet. The second fastest guy on the planet is still fast enough to see and react to this, okay? Now, people will say, this happens very quickly. I spotted it without slow-mo, okay? I'm going to put it for you to see in slow-mo so you can see it, okay? If I can spot this, Manny's going to spot this in the ring, okay? When he is completely switched on and focusing on nothing but Floyd's hands and his feet. This is, for me, that this was a big shock, because I have not heard people spot this. I'm sure someone's going to turn around and go, yeah, I told you this and this, that and the other, right? Just watch the right hand. That's all I'm going to say. Just watch the right hand, okay? I'll move on to footwork in a minute after you've seen these videos. But yeah, just watch. So again, just watch, like I said, the right hand, okay? It's a little flinch, okay, but it's every time, you don't need to watch his left hand. If you're stood in front of him, you're fighting him, you don't need to watch his left hand, okay? Like, this is it. Left hand's touching you, step back or step to the right, okay? Because the straight right's coming. Right hand moves out to one side or sort of turns in, as you can see on the video. The left hand's coming again. Just move. You stand in front of him, it's gonna hit you, okay? But you have to move, and you've got to be patient with this. If he wants any chance of it, he's got to be patient, and he has to move, and he has to stay out of the range of being, in Floyd's range where he can do this to you. Okay, so there's your left with the, the little movie right hand. Let me just move my hand a little bit so I can set you up. And I know you're going to watch this because I throw the straight right so much. So the second I do this, you're going to move a little bit, and left hook arrives. It's intelligent from Floyd's perspective, I guess. But you just need to watch his right hand. Like, if you're worried about the straight coming, because that's, it's a lot of what he does. You see him turning that hand, just move. There's 180 seconds each round. What's that take? A second, a second, or 2 seconds max to go out and come back in again. Manny has to realise that when Floyd's going to throw the left, when he's going to meaningfully, I can't even speak English. When he's gonna, when he's gonna really throw the left, and not use it as the measuring stick, as I've said. The right hand's the key. The right hand is the key. The right hand literally is telling you he's going to throw the left hand. Okay. Now I'm gonna go to the Mayweather lean. Again, all body movement, all the same, always the same with him. I say lean, and I can imagine that, I don't know, a lot of people watching this video are going to go, I know what he's talking about here, I know what he's going to. Mayweather, when he stood in front of you and he's leaning, there's only one thing on his mind, only one thing, and it's the same shit every fight, and no one seems to fucking do anything about it. He's throwing a straight right. He's waiting for you to move your hand just enough, and I'm talking inches, because that's how good he can be. That's how good he is. This is painful, because I'll be the first to jump on him and criticise him, and slate what he's done in his career and fighters that he's picked or whatever. But that's the level of ability he's got, in terms of he needs you to move 2-3 inches, and he can throw 2 or 3 feet in terms of the distance from this hand being there as opposed to here, and he can throw it from all the way back here right the way across into your face. Again, from what I said earlier, he can do that quicker than you can put this back. Okay, because I suppose in a way it's all about, he thinks about what you're thinking, and it's a minded. The guy is very manipulative. Like I said about the walking down thing, you might maybe there's been times like with Mosley, where Mosley fucking ripped his jaw off with that 1-2, the jab to the body, the right hand over the top. He was blatantly hurt. Okay, the 30-second man cuddle, that said he was hurt. But when he's been back down, don't think he's hurt. Okay, that's like I said, there are times where he is hurt, and he's probably going, fuck this, I need a break. Okay, give me 5 seconds to breathe. But Manny needs to think that he's not hurt every time. Every time he's backing Floyd down, he needs to be fully subconsciously aware that he might not be hurt. He might well just be going, come on, keep walking, because the second that lead foot steps down, bang, he's all over you, and he's in and he's out, and he's if he's not in and he's landed efficiently, he's gonna grab hold of you. Okay, saying that, he isn't. He did against Hat, and I think I've got the video of that somewhere. I'll cover it in the pot shot and hold. As everyone says that about him. He literally fucking makes Floyd eat his entire right arm. Never mind the fist, the arm. Excuse me. And he just hugs him straight after it. If he hadn't have done, I reckon he knocks him out. You look at Ricky's. He's not even there. He's come steaming in like Pacquiao does. He's come steaming in, and he's at forward. What's he moving? I don't know, 5-10 mile an hour. And he's taken a fully loaded right hand. Fully loaded right hand straight in the mouth. No homo, but it's gone away. You can see it doesn't hurt him. Manny's, you can say he's got a chin, and everyone's gonna argue, well, he got knocked out by Marquez. But at the same time, Floyd might well be, the powder puff puncher that everyone says he is, but I could go and smack Mike Tyson square in the mouth, and granted, I probably won't knock him out, but it'll hurt him. Right? He's not going to turn around and go, "Oh, I didn't hurt." He's got a fucking mouth bust wide open. Yeah, it doesn't hurt. No. It's gonna hurt, okay, and it's gonna hurt Manny, whether it's Mayweather punching him, whether it's fucking Jinky jumps in the ring and punches him, right? It's gonna hurt, okay, but it's just about how he deals with it and how he, more important, if he can avoid it altogether, and he doesn't have to worry about it hurting him. But let me find this clip of Hatton and see what I'm talking about in this one. Okay, so that's the one where, he's basically out on his feet and Floyd decides to grab hold of him. I'm not going to go into what he could do or whatever, because, Ricky Hatton lives like 5 miles away from me in England. Not, it's a bit of a sore subject. This is, you're about to see a couple more. He loads up the same way every time. Okay, the lean, it's slightly different when he's walking backwards. Okay, the footwork's identical. His feet go, if they're not already forward facing, as in they're not both like this, one foot in front of the other. He will turn. He keeps his sort of he keeps sort of a T stance. I can't. What is going on? I play in the mirror. His feet, he go back in sort of a T stance. I like a fucking retard doing that, but yeah. So he walks back in. He stands in a T stance. He's got his feet are planted, whatever. If they're like that, you will see just how quickly he switches up and he puts the power into his back leg while he turns his foot, sort of rolls his ankle inwards until he's in. The best way I can describe it, if you think of it as how someone like Usain Bolt would start a race in terms of the foot lineup, maybe not so much on the floor. Think, where am I going with this? Relay runner. In terms of they start, they're sort of crouching down, not all the way to the floor. He loads as soon as he turns his feet into that. The transition of energy goes foot to foot with the hip thrust, and the right hand is gone. Now, sounds all great and shiny me explaining it like that. Just watch it. Just watch it. It's right in front of you. You're gonna see a mix of when he's on the back foot in terms of walking up. So he's being backed into a corner, and then you'll see just directly when he stood in front of you. He's leaning down. He's got one thing on his mind. It's so obvious. But just when you can see like his entire body, just watch his feet. His feet line up directly, and if they're not already, if he's in his T sort of shaped footwork, his back right leg, he turns it on his toes. He's in position, bang, and the straight right goes. Perfect example. I've looped this one twice. Just watch his right foot. How he turns on it, he waits, bang, and the straight right goes. Alright, the next bit I'm going to go on to what I think Manny needs to do when it comes to them being against the ropes. As I think it's fair to say, this fight, there's going to be a lot of shit against the ropes. We know Floyd backs up in straight lines. We know he backs up and likes to let you think you're in control and throws the straight, as I've already shown you. So when he's against the rope, now this is something again that I posted on the Thunderdome group. So some of you remember it that have seen it. Just after the Maidana fight, everyone was saying what you scored and whatever, and what do you think Maidana did differently. One thing he did well, but then never did it. He never sort of. I don't know. Maybe he didn't see it. Maybe he didn't think it worked. Maybe his corner didn't say shit to him. But when Floyd goes into the high guard, it's somewhat impossible to get him to drop his hands. Okay, now the overhand booming right that Maidana threw, the big clubbing blow as the commentators referred to it as, yeah, it had some effect. We didn't knock us too far, but how many times are you going to throw that? He threw it what? Fucking 200 times? I don't know. This is a rough figure. Don't quote me on that. I'm just exaggerating. But just like Ortiz, now again, this is just another fight that I've watched. I'm not going off, who's the opponent. When Floyd is against the ropes, he does he leans back. That's a given. He will lean fucking all the way over as far as he can. The ropes. In a way, it's a smart tactic. It works for him. His face is damn near untouchable on the ropes. When he's in the high guard, when he goes into sort of shell, not so much, obviously, for obvious reasons. But this is why I'm saying this is purely for the fact that when he goes into his high guard, and I'm gonna go back to Roy Jones and Calzaghe, whether you like it or not, and I'm gonna go across to Maidana Floyd and Ortiz Floyd. If you stay punching for his head, he stays in the high guard and you don't hit him. Okay, now some people say you're scoring. You're definitely doing more of the work, okay? But are you hitting him? Not really. No. Maidana, I can't remember my quote exactly, but I watched it and I studied it, quite in detail for this specific thing. I think it was the first 4 or 5 rounds, and that's just off the top of my head. When he threw more than 4, I think it was definitely more than 3. I'll go with more than 4, so 4 or more, maybe 5. One after the other to the body, Floyd dropped his gloves. Anything less, he didn't move. He did not budge. Okay, now I can say we, but there's gonna be people that just completely fucking refuse to acknowledge it. Manny is a pain in the ass on the ropes in terms of what he throws. He's his own worst enemy for his patience against people who want to bring you to the ropes and bang, see you later. Slip to one side, slip to the other. He's by no means a mug when it comes to doing it, but like I've said, they're not perfect fighters, either of them. So he will make mistakes. He's not going to keep him there for for 36 minutes. But what he needs to do is go to the body and start a lot of his attacks from the body and work his way up. He will. There's one thing he does do quite well that I've not. Some people do talk about, some don't. Is when he sees, when they tighten the guard up, so they've gone from sort of this to this. A lot of fighters stay sticking the jab in, and they turn, you turn your fist. Manny just sort of bangs like this, and again, it's like I said on the uppercut. It's nothing sort of power. He's not going to knock you out of it, but it opens doors. For Manny, it opens a lot of doors. He can pop this on the nose. The nose is a fucker. You take a good shot on the nose, and your eyes will water. You'll cover. You'll go straight to cover up. And then it comes down to what I've been saying earlier about who's gonna break first in terms of the error. You know, it could well be that that fourth or fifth body shot that Manny throws with his head down, just banging his abs, takes the wind, or not takes the wind out of him, but you know, when you go to the corner, you're going to tense your stomach for that obvious reason, is you know you're going to get the shit punched out of you. So the fourth or fifth or the sixth could be the one where he breathes out. You know, he exhales, and then he goes, ah fuck, I need to cover that. Okay, now he might only drop one hand. You know, he might drop two, but if he drops one, okay, it's open. His face is then open, and then you can work your way up and work your way back down and work your way back up. Okay, but if you don't start low and make him want to defend his stomach, he won't. Now that kind of speaks volumes for the ab muscles. And I watched Margarito fucking use his bleeding sledgehammer dynamite hands that he's got crunch Pacquiao in the stomach. Okay, so this goes both ways. They can both take a beast into the stomach. But you know, 4, 5, 6 in a row. You know, while you're breathing in, well, holding your breath, breathing in, whatever you want to call it, tensing up. You know, it might not work the first time. Okay, but he's not going to be on the ropes one time in 30. He's going to be on the ropes quite a fair bit. Okay, that's not me hating or whatever. You know, that's it is. This is what it is. It's going to be like that. So a big key for me is what Manny does when he's on the ropes. Now, what I'd like to see him do is sort of 5s and 6s, step out, take a little bit, you know, breath-wise, read the situation, and go back in. If he feels that he isn't going to get blasted with a straight right or the cheeky uppercut on the way back in. And again, just go to the body, work his way back up. I've got a little beauty clip from Calzaghe and Roy Jones that I will find for you now. Obviously, I don't want to see Manny doing what Calzaghe does at the end. You know, where he's basically got his hands on his balls. You know, waves it about. You know, what you gonna do? Because if he does that and he gets clipped and it knocks him out, then I'll be pissed. If the fight ends like that, I'll be pissed. As I think a lot of other people will be. We'll just sit tight and go. So yeah, so if you can hit the face or the head, whatever, you go for it by all means. But if not, then the second clip's a bit better. You know, work your way up, smash what you can in the stomach, work up, jump out a little bit, and then go back in. It's all good. Again, though, he has to be careful with, you know, how he approaches the rope work. Just because Floyd has the ability to just not, you know, it's like when I say with the uppercut, it might not even be a big punch. It might just be a short, snappy right or a short, snappy left, and you know, it's your face is, you know, he's back and Floyd's gone, and then you've got, you know, he's got to do all the donkey work chasing him again. The donkey work chasing him, is, you know, is that going to bother him? Probably not. He got a decent run out against Algieri in terms of footwork. Before anyone jumps on anything, you know, I'm talking purely footwork, nothing level of content. I'm talking just, you know, Algieri's movement is shit hot. So, you know, he'll have to deal with the consequences of, you know, not being, how can I put it, not being effective on the ropes. You know, obviously the more effective he is on the ropes, you know, the less it matters, you know, if Floyd gets out and, you know, he has to play, you know, he has to go chasing him for the next 20 seconds, 30 seconds, whatever. Now, with the ropes, again, this is through watching Calzaghe against Jones and B-Hop, and watching Mayweather Calzaghe, B-Hop, sorry, not Calzaghe, Jones, B-Hop and Mayweather all have one thing that's very in common in terms of what they can do when they're on the back foot in the corners or against the ropes, okay? And that is that they can, you know, they can punch very effectively and give up very minimal energy doing so. So something that I looked into in terms of the distance between Maidana and Mayweather, anything jabbing range and sort of a foot further out in terms of, I'm talking straight right distance for Floyd, is a no-go zone. As far as I'm concerned, it's a no-go zone. If I'm talking again, if I'm Roach and this is my game plan for breaking the May Vinci Code, to quote. Now that being said, too close is just going to be like clicking on YouTube, clicking on Google and searching gay porn. It's going to be a cuddle fest between two men that are half naked that I don't want to watch. Somewhere in between, I'd say 6 inches inside. That sounds really gay, doesn't it? Gay, I'm talking gay porn, then going 6 inches. Right, 6 inches shorter than jabbing range is where I think Mayweather and Pacquiao, is where I think Pacquiao will have more fun. Oh my god, this is getting really gay. He'll have more effect, and he'll have more advantages in that sort of distance from Mayweather. Too far, he's going to get pot-shotted and he's going to get cuddled, or Mayweather's just going to bang and slip out. Anything too close, he's either going to bang and hold, or he's going to bang and slip out. Manny needs to work his way in. I'm fairly, it's nothing new. It's not like it's the first time he's been on the ropes. He's going to do what Mayweather does. Like I said earlier, the measuring stick. He's going to put his right hand out. He's going to see where he is. Okay, and he's going to calculate immediately what he can and can't do from this position. Now, when he's just, I'm talking, I'm going to call it MySpace. No relation to the shitty social media network. When he's in that area, in Tom zone, he's going to be effective. Okay, but he needs to go body, 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 head, body, body, head, and not just face, 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 because it doesn't work. It hasn't worked. Okay, now I almost want to challenge you to prove me wrong on that. Yeah, Maidana had a bit, but has it worked to the point where it's really hurt him? Or that we'll never know in terms of round 3 in the second fight, because 30 seconds more, is he knocked out? Potentially. But we'll never know. We'll never know. That's the shit thing about it. We'll never know. So other than that, has anyone really gave him that much trouble through purely punching to the face? I'm not saying people haven't troubled him in terms of, overall, but just going directly to his head doesn't work. It doesn't work. He high guards, leans back, and there's fucking nothing you can do about it. And eventually he gets bored, or you tire out, and he just goes, yeah, nice one. Cuddle time. Referee within, before he's even put his arms around you, Bayless is fucking wanking into a cup in the corner. Oh, break, I get to touch Mayweather, break. So, he needs to keep the gap. He needs to close the gap, but not completely shut the gap, and stay in striking range, but not in jabbing range. which I hope is making, I hope that makes sense to you. I know what I mean in my head, obviously. I just hope that makes sense to you guys. So yeah, striking zone, not jabbing zone, or distances, whatever you want to call them. I think that we're about done. So to close, for Pacquiao, patience, striking distance, not jabbing distance against the ropes. He has to work the body upwards and not just the head. The uppercut, he has to make use of that, and he has to be cautious. I think that's the best way of saying it. He has to be cautious when he's being touched with the left from Mayweather. The whole backing down or backing Floyd down thing, again, that's another thing that I covered, which I believe that if he does it right, he'll have effect. He needs to watch the right hand of Floyd for the left hook. Can watch his back leg if he wanted to. It's different. The back leg is different when he throws the left hook. So you've got the right hand that you pick. You've got the right hand that moves, the little twitch that he has, followed by left hook. The footwork's slightly different. The load up is almost identical. The footwork changes slightly for the two. But in a nutshell, I think that's about it covered for what I would do. So shout out to everyone at Thunderdome in the Thunderdome boxing group. Shouts to Anthony Tesori for making shit happen in the boxing world. J Cotto, massive influence for this video. Appreciate the love. Kenny Lopez, keep doing what you're doing. Scoop, keep doing what you're doing. Don Banks, EnterTheArena, keep doing what you're doing, son. TJ Carr for the shout out as promised. Keep it up. And yeah, stay safe. Take it easy, boys.